Hare Krishna. Ogyan Pingran Disagyanam Shalaka Chakshurun Sri Vishnuradaya Krishna Krishnaya Dutare Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Acharya Nirvisesha Shanmadi Paschatya Deshatavni Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaurav Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So we'll just continue what benedictions Lord is giving to Brahmaji, and because same things are going parallel, almost same slokas. They have some religion, but both are different perspective because one is Vishwanath Chakravarti, one is Prabhupada. So Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted praise the glories of my transcendental activities, the penance you have undertaken to understand me and your firm faith in me. All these are to be considered my causelessness. So we saw it is Lord only who gives buddhi, who gives control of mind and senses, he gives clear buddhi. So what we can do is only one thing. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification. And this is what the Lord is telling. You have to make an endeavor and two things. We need to have desire to serve the Lord and we have to make endeavor. Remaining things Lord only will provide. And the Lord says, I am very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to mundaneness. I grant you all benediction in your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities. Ultimately, Lord is to be glorified. So it is Lord's possessing transcendental qualities. The pure devotee is always interested to glorify the Lord all over the world. That is all over the universe. Brahmaji, like personalities, they will always try to glorify Lord's qualities, not only in this planet, but all over the three worlds. And another thing Prabhupada said that even if non-devotees or impersonalists, they praise and they ask for mercy of Lord, Lord is not very pleased because they don't accept Lord's qualities are transcendental. They think it's an embodiment of goodness. That's why Lord is not very pleased. That we discussed. And then we discussed that Lord says any human being who prays like Brahma and who thus worships me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires, for I am the Lord of all benedictions. Brahma is very compassionate. So he's preaching for this showing compassion, empowerment, and glorifying transcendental God. So these are the prayers. This is the style of prayer of Brahma. If we are also want to show compassion, make a build a temple or do preaching, distribute books or some Rath Yatra you want to conduct a Janmashtami festival, we can also pray like Lord Brahmaji for empowerment, and we want to do that service to show compassion to the living entities. And Jivedaya Krishnanam Sarvadharmasar, chanting the holy name and showing compassion. And we are asking imperfect and glory. That means what is pleasing the Lord is the intention. What is the intention that matters? That we have discussed, and then Lord says, in the opinion of an expert transcendentist, that the ultimate goal of all perfection, goal of performing all uh, traditional good work, penance, sacrifice, austerity, mystic activities, meditation, and trance, is to invoke my satisfaction. Tapasvino jnana parayashashvino. It says that all the thing that is actually meant, kshemam na vindati, tasmai subhadre savasho namo namah. It is all for the pleasure of Lord. Right? And that's Lord is telling it's for me only, my satisfaction. If satisfying Lord, we'll all be satisfied. Lord is not telling out of like a dictator sitting somewhere on the big asana and he's commanding everybody with a rod in his hand. Everything should be for me, otherwise you'll all go to hell. He's not a very tyrant dictator who is very envious and is very egoistic. And if somebody does not do anything for him, I will show you what I am. It is not like that. Lord is actually very, very compassionate. When he's making the statement, he's telling out of compassion because this is reality. This is how a living entity will be more and more happy. Now we are struggling because we are identifying with matter. As such, soul will be happy in relation to Lord. That's what Lord tells in the next slok. Here he says, Aham Atma Atmanam Dhata Preshtasan Preyasamapi Atomai Rathim Kuryat Dehadir Yat Krite Priyaha. He says, why Lord is telling all these things should be invoked for my satisfaction? He's telling this reason. I am the super soul of every individual soul, the supreme director, the dearest of all the people. People are wrongly attached to gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only. This is the reason why Lord is telling everything should be for me, because we belong to Lord. When Lord is telling in Bhagavad Gita 3.30, when he says 3.30, my sarvani karma. So in this shloka, he says, my sarvani karmani sanyas adhyatma chetasa. So when he is telling my sarvani karmani, this is what is the 41st shloka is telling. Everything should be invoked for my satisfaction. When Lord is telling my sarvani karma means everything is for my satisfaction. Now, what he gives in 3.30, the reason, Adhyatmachas. Adhyatmachas means by knowing who you are. So by knowing who you are, you should do everything for me. That is what is Lord is recommending in 3.30. Sannyas Adhyatmachas. Here also Lord is recommending to Brahma, everything should be my satisfaction, because you should know who you are, what we are. If you know who am I, then we'll know what to do. If you remember this, we have discussed the three main questions. Who am I? Why am I unhappy? What to do? These are the three important questions of all human beings. They get wrong answers, they do wrong activities. Because our identity, this first part only people make mistake. This is only a mistake. So activity is also a mistake. But if I know I belong to Lord, then I'll work for the Lord's pleasure. So simple, right? And Lord is telling the same thing. Are you belong to me? I know why you are so much worried. Why are you creating a mess of your life? You don't identify. As a soul, you are supposed to identify as a servant of Krishna. Jivera soul. But we are identifying with the mind and body. So this is because of falsing. So when soul looks at chitta and the false ego, it sees mind and body. But if it is proper purified, then it will see the reflection. Then it can say, oh, I actually belong to Krishna. I am actually servant of Krishna. So what Lord is recommending is Sannyas Adhyatma Chetasa means know who you are, then you know what to do. When you are telling you do for my satisfaction because you belong to me, you are not, because people are wrongly attached. They are wrongly attached to gross and subtle words. So this is the problem. So this problem, we are attached to gross and subtle bodies because the soul, I am the super soul of every individual soul, the supreme director and the dearest to all. Suhurdam Sarvabhutana is so dear to everyone. He is a supreme director. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is actually Maheshwaram. He is the director. And he is the enjoyer. If you know it, then we are very peaceful. And Lord Prabhupada writes this nice purport. He says, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is dearest to the dear for both the conditioned and the liberated soul. A person who does not know the Lord is dearmost object is in the conditioned state of life. One who knows perfectly well that the Lord is dearmost object is considered to be liberated. Now, why at this point? Why by knowing Lord is dearest will make a difference? That is also another point to discuss. By knowing Lord is very dear to us. So by knowing Lord is dear to us, what everybody is looking in this world is love. We are all looking for love. We may be looking in different direction. People are looking love in food, in internet or mobile. People are looking in relationship. But ultimately they are looking for it. If you remember George Harrison's forward of Krishna book, he says everybody is looking for Krishna. Everybody is looking for love. And this actually, Krishna is telling, it is with me. I am the most. I can give that. By knowing it, Prabhupada says, dearmost object, a person is liberated. There are degree of knowing one's relation with the Lord. Depending on degree of relation as why the Supreme Lord is dearmost object of every. The real reason is clearly stated in 15.7. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutsana. We belong to him. That's what. Adhyatma Chetana means I belong to Krishna. Our identity is clear. If I belong to Krishna, whom should I work for? For him. The living entities are eternally part and parcel of Supreme Lord. The living entity is called Atma. And the Lord is called Paramatma. The living entity is called Brahman and the Lord is called Parabrahman or Parameshwar. Ishvara Paramakrishna. The conditioned soul who do not have self-relation accept the material body as dearmost. Because I told them, this chitta is seeing in this soul is seeing his chitta, which is contaminated. That's why it is seeing through false ego. It is saying, I am the mind, I am the body. This is what the soul is seeing. But once this is clear, then we will be able to see the reflection clearly. We say, oh, actually, I belong to Supreme Lord. This is actually very important. So here is wrongly identifying with the body. The idea of dearmost is then spread all over the body, both concentrated and expanded. The attachment for one's body, one's own body, and its extensions like children and relatives is actually developed on the basis of real living. Even the body of the most dear son is no longer attractive as soon as the real living entity is out of the body. Therefore, the living spark or eternal part of the Supreme is the real basis of reflection and not the body. Because the living entity are also parts of the whole living entity. That Supreme living entity is a factual basis of affection for all. One who has forgotten these basic principles of his love for everything has only flickering love. This is he is in Maya. So they are actually forgotten the real love. We are all looking for love only. The more one is affected by the principles of Maya, the more one is detached from the basic principles of love. So here, one cannot factual love anything unless he is fully developed in loving service of Lord. So now what is happening is soul, it loves Krishna. So this is actually the real attraction. Now, what is the soul looking in relationship? So when the soul is loving some family relationships, like say wife, children, parents. Now, what is the soul loving? It is loving Krishna only. But because it is not a wife, it is actually the soul in the wife's body. Same thing, soul. And all these souls are connected to whom? They are connected to Krishna. That's why you love the person. There is attraction for the person because this not just the body, the soul exists. As soon as the soul leaves, the body is removed. And the person no more, he cannot stay with the dead body for a long time. Even if you deep freeze, keep the dead body, I like my wife, I like my child, and the body is the soul leaves. How long the person will keep the body and be with it? No. He wants that live reciprocation. That the consciousness is actually what is attractive. And the consciousness comes from where? It is from Krishna only. Why I love anybody in this world, if I love my wife or my husband, is because the soul is there. And why I love that soul? Because it is connected to Krishna. So ultimately, I want to get attracted to Krishna, but I am doing it a wrong way. That is what Prabhupada is trying to explain. Therefore, the living spark or the eternal part of Supreme is the real basis of affection and not the body. See, Prabhupada is clearly telling we are attracted to anybody in this world. The real attraction is the spiritual self because the living entity are also part of the whole living entity. That supreme living entity, factual basis of affection for all. It is so clear. The actual affection is because they are all connected to Lord. Ultimately, we are attracted to Krishna only. Only one person who attracts. Krishna is called all attractive. Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is all attractive, but the attraction what we are getting here is in an indirect way. We are getting attracted to his Maya. That's why Prabhupada is telling that is Maya. One who forgets the real basis of love for everything has only flickering love because he is in Maya. We are getting attracted in a wrong way. That is Maya. The more one is affection to the principle of Maya, the more he is detached from the basic principles of love. That means the more I am showing love here, the more I am deprived of the original love which is coming from Krishna. One cannot factual love anything unless he fully develops love for service to the Lord. So what we should do now? To develop love for Krishna, we should develop love to service of the Lord. Then we develop love for Krishna. And that love for Krishna, then we can really love all the living entities. If I have love for my husband, wife, or children, it can be real only if I have love for Krishna. Otherwise, not. Hope it is clear. Uh, we mentally want to detach from family, but it's there certainly. Can we give a strong point? We have to know that this attachment is to body only. Whatever attachment we have for the family, it is actually to the body and mind. So this is not actually the attachment to the soul. Of course, we are attached because soul is present in that, but the attraction is to the soul only. It is conscious. Now to get detachment is difficult. What we can do, we should get attached to what? Service to Krishna. That is only we do. Automatically that detachment comes. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chahati. You just do service to Krishna, detachment will come, knowledge will come. No need of separately endeavoring anything. It is byproduct. I want to get detached from something, don't need to do work like Jnanis, speculators, contemplating how to be detached. This is Maya, this is not true, this is not true. That is not our business. Our business is just serve Krishna every day, hear Bhagavatam. Automatically, you feel unaffected by what is happening around. You will not feel the same amount of bondage or same amount of attachment which you felt few years back. If you go on reading Bhagavatam and chanting the whole. Of course, we should do it consciously. That makes a difference. Otherwise, no need of separately making endeavor. Another question is, now suppose I suffer from a disease called dementia and I forget everything. Amnesia, okay. Like I am a man, woman, I forgot all the experience, memory, and even there is no ego and there are no impressions left in Chitta. Can such a person, Chitta is exposed to Krishna consciousness, told that he is only Atma, not this mind, body, and senses. Will that happen in such cases? Does such a person lead to self-realization? As he only knows that he is servant of Krishna, he is not mind, body, senses, he has been left with only Krishna consciousness. Now, what happens in this amnesia cases is he has all the impressions, but now presently they are just in a subconscious level only. Sorry, unconscious level. They will manifest in next life. He is not gone. Chitta is not clean. Only what happened, the temporary memory which has like we have RAM and we have the RAM memory, that is the temporary memory. So what happens is we have chitta, which has all the memory. It's like hard disk, and then there is false ego, and there is manas and buddhi. So here, this is a subconscious mind. This is conscious. This is like RAM. Now, this part is deleted for a person who get this type of diseases. This part is deleted, but this is still existing. That means he'll get another body, his ego will remain. These are there in a very subtle form. He may not remember now, but this will manifest eventually in next body. He cannot take to, his chitta is not pure. This should be pure, for that only sadhana is needed. Different sadhanas, different yoga practices, whatever they do, even the regressions and all, they are working on purification of chitta. This is not gone. Only this part is gone. When his temporary memory of this lifetime, which we have recorded, that records in manas, that is deleted. That's why he cannot take to pure Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada writes, as you can take an example of Rishishringa Maharshi, he was not knowing that woman is all about, and as such, he had no lust, and he did not know like something woman exists in the world. No, Rishishringa, as soon as he came in contact with woman, he immediately got affected. Why he got affected? Because it is there in previous life. Now, previous life memories are still there. That triggered. That's why he went and he got married. If it is zero, it will be like Sukadeva Goswami. When Sukadeva Goswami saw woman taking bath, he didn't get affected. But Rishishringa got affected. Because Rishishringa was artificially trying to hold it. His father is trying to artificially hold. That's why he got affected. But whereas Sukadeva Goswami, he is already Brahman release. Already Chitta is pure. Everything is deleted. Memory is no impressions only for him. That's why it was possible for him to. Not get affected. His father is running to get him married. Whereas Rishishringa craze, the father is protecting him not to get married. Even though he's protected not to get him married, he got married because the impressions are there. Whereas Sukadeva Goswami's case, Vyasdev is going around, he said, my dear son, I will do sanskaras, please come back. He is like, I don't have anything to do. He left. The point is, this chitta, it has this pure chitta, then it will not get affected. That is the point. Prabhupada says, in the present verse, stress is given on focusing love upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word kuryat is significant here. This means one must have it. This word is used just to stress that we must have more and more attachment to the principle of love for God. Very important. The influence of Maya is experienced by part and parcel spiritual entity, but it cannot influence the super soul, the Paramatma. The Mayavadi philosophers, accepting the influence of Maya on the living entity, want to become one with the Paramatma. But because they have no actual love for the Paramatma, they remain ever entrapped in the influence of Maya and are unable to approach the vicinity of Paramatma. This inability is due to their lack of affection for Paramatma. The rich miser does not know how to utilize his money, and therefore, in spite of his being very rich, his miserly behavior keeps him everlastingly a poor man. On the other hand, a person who knows how to utilize wealth can quickly become a rich man, even with a small credit balance. The eyes and the sun are very intimately related because without sunlight, the eyes are unable to see. But the other parts of the body, being attached to the sun as a source of Brahman, take more advantage of sun than to the eyes. Without possessing affection for sun, the eyes cannot bear the rays of sun. Or in other words, such eyes have no capacity to understand the utility of sun's rays. Similarly, the empiric philosophers, despite their theoretical knowledge of Brahman, cannot utilize the mercy of Supreme Brahman because they lack affection for him. So, any impersonal philosophers remain Many impersonal philosophers remain everlastingly under the influence of Maya because although they indulge in theoretical knowledge of Brahman, they do not develop affection for Brahman, nor do they have any scope for development of affection because of their defective method. A devotee of sun god, even though devoid of eyesight, can see the sun god as he even from this planet. Whereas one who is not devotee of sun cannot even bear the glaring sunlight. Similarly, by devotional service, even though one is not on the level of jnana, can see the personality of God within oneself due to one's development of pure love. In all circumstances, one should try to develop love of God, and that will solve all contending problems. Prabhupada is giving very, very nice. It's all about love, the supreme love. सर्ववेदमयेनेदम् आत्मानात्मानं योनिनां प्रजाः सृजयता पूर्वं यास्ते मयि अनुसेरते. By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before. By dint of your complete Vedic wisdom, and the body you have directly received from me, supreme cause of everything. So he is giving that my instruction. Now he is telling, okay, go on, Brahma, carry on. Go ahead. I have already empowered you. Now you can go and generate the living entities as before by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from. So these are the three. He's telling you got knowledge, you got the skills, and you are empowered. So Lord is telling three things. I gave you knowledge, your skills, and empowerment. And now, along with this, also he also has character, knowledge, skills. So Brahma has three things. Of course, Brahma has this part, and these three things are given by the Lord. Because Brahma possesses, these are given by Lord. So empowerment, knowledge, and skills are given by Lord. And what Brahma possesses? He has good character. Because of his good character, Lord gave him knowledge, Lord gave him skills, and Lord empowered him. Now, in some cases, they have knowledge, they have skills, but they are not empowered because they don't have character. That's so. Sometimes they get knowledge, skills, and they have wrong character. They are empowered to do wrong things, like Hiranyakashipu. Empowerment is coming from Lord only, but he is only misusing. He's trying to trouble his son. Finish. Maitreya Vacha Tasma Evam Jagat Srishte Pradhana Purusheshwara Vyajayedam Sena Rupena Kanjanabhastriyodade. The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, he expanded the creation. The primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead, is in his personal form disappeared. And this is before his activity of creating the universe, Brahma saw the Lord. That is explained in Chatushloki Bhagavatam 2.9.30-36. When the creation awaits Brahma's activity, Brahma saw the Lord, and therefore the Lord existed in his personal form before the creation. His eternal form is not created by the attempt of Brahma as imagined by less intelligent. The personality of God appeared as he is before Brahma, and Lord disappeared from Brahma's view in the same form, which is not materially tainted. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy. We'll go further. 10th chapter. Vidra Uvacha Ata Antarhite Bhavati Brahma Loka Prata Pitamaha Prajasrija Kadita Dikshit Manasa Vibhu. Sri Vidura said, O great sage, please let me know how Brahma, the grandfather of the planetary inhabitants, created the bodies of living entities from his own body and mind after disappearance of Supreme Personality of God. So you want to know what is happening further. This is Kecha me Bhagavan Krishtastvai Astha Bhuvai Tama Tan Vadasvanupurvayena Chindina Sarva Samshaya. Oh, greatly learned one, kindly eradicate all my doubts and let me know how will that have inquired from you from the beginning to end. Vidura's all relevant questions of Maitreya because Vidura knows well that Maitreya was the right person to reply to all the points of his inquiry. One must be confident about the qualification of his teacher. One should not approach a layman for replies to specific spiritual inquiries. Such inquiries, when replied to with imaginative answers by teacher, are a program for wasting time. So inquiry should be relevant. One should not approach a layman for replies of specific spiritual. Such inquiries, when replied by with imaginative answers by the teacher, are program for wasting time. And this actually what is happening in nowadays. So many people come and in YouTube is filled with such bogus questions, bogus answers. They may be perfect questions, but 100% answers are bogus. That much guarantee I can. Don't go for all these bogus. The problem with the answers of these materialistic answers is the main problem is they only address till the level of mind, manas, we can say, and buddhi. So their answers are at this level only. They cannot address the answers at the level of ego. That is the main thing. Because their levels, their premises is only wrong. Their premises of answers are wrong. That's why their answer is wrong. They identify themselves with the body. They identify themselves with mind. And that's why the answer they give at the level of body and mind only. Very simple. Why we are telling their wrong answer? The answer Prabhupada is telling it's a program for waste of time. Why the imaginative answers Prabhupada is calling? Why like that? Because they are only addressing manas and buddhi because they identify manas, buddhi and body. Because they identify at this level only. They don't know that the real understanding is we are not the body spirit soul. If I am spirit soul, the answers which we give is also based on spirit soul only. So spiritual answers are at the level of soul. Material answers at the level of manas and buddhi. Spiritual answers soul and ego also. Actually, ego only we have to address, and the soul is automatically addressed. We are servant of Krishna, then you answer. Then you answer the question. Then you will get a right answer. This is what the answers will come between the conversations that happens in Bhagavatam. The same questions you ask if a person has. Now here there is another problem. There are other bogus spiritual people. Their answers, they are also equally bogus. Why they are bogus? Because very simple. As such, the spiritual answer should be coming from ego, but they have false ego. They think they don't identify as servant of real ego is servant of Krishna. So bogus people are at false ego only. They still identify as enjoy. They may not identify with manas and buddhi, but they are thinking they are the supreme. They are one with Brahman. their identity is wrong. That's why their answers are wrong. Now we may say, "Arey, bro, they are giving good answers, helping." Like you go to these organizations, they can help you understand how to. They will very clearly tell the statement problems. If you go to any of these organizations, problem problem statements, they are all correct. All the people, materialistic people, bogus spiritual people, and proper spiritual people. All of them can give problem statement correct. That's why everybody understands first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But when it comes to the solution part, the solution part, materialistic people address on the level of manas and buddhi. And it will work. They will help you, they help people to control mind, they'll help people to control senses. They can also guide with proper intelligence to some extent. So the solutions work for materialistic solutions. I think we can write a tabular column. So problem statement and identity. So for problem statement by materialistic people, their problem statement is right. Bogus spiritual people, they are also right. And real spiritual people, they are also right. So all of them can get the problems right only, most time. They'll say this matter world is a place of suffering. Who will not agree? Everybody agrees. They get. Now, what is the solution they give? They give solution at the level of solution level, at the level of manas and buddhi, and to some extent. So materialistic people solutions are at this level only because they identify like that. And these people solutions, they are at the level of ego, false ego. And this is really. And so now what is the result you get? You get a solution, and there is people feel relieved also. But it is they can get relief from the problems, but the solution is temporary solution. Like they will have say 1 week of training sessions, 15-day training sessions, and or they have workshops, 3-day workshops and all. Materialistic people, all these motivational speakers, they give solutions, but it will be a temporary solution. It is not going to work. Here now in India, we have a mixture. This is a mixture of this. There is a one more category. They're half spiritualist, half materialist. They're not complete. Like if you say bogus spiritualist, we can say they're like they're completely they look spiritual. They don't do any material activity. They renounce and they tell people to renounce. But the problem is they are guiding in a wrong direction. They say Brahman, impersonal, this, that. And there are materialistic people in the West. We have some people who directly tell, just Stephen Covey and all, very materialistic solution. But in India, now there is a combination. They look spiritual but give material. This is the problem. So there is relief. That's why people go. Otherwise, why lakhs of people are following them? There is, but there is a temporary solution. So it is relief. They are in between people. Na? There are workshops. If you, I'll not name them, but there are workshops people do for 10 days, 15 days, some vipassana, this, that, so many kriyas, this, that, so many are there. It works. But the point is how much they work. They work only temporarily. They work. They cannot give the solution. Why? Because their premises is wrong. They still identify with the body. That's why. Unless one comes to there's a real solution. Unless you give this identification, I am not the body, spirit, soul, I am servant of Krishna. Any other solutions without this? Sometimes this solution is needed. Say somebody has so much psychiatric problem, he should go to a psychologist, psychiatrist, and he should get cured. That gives relief. Immediately that is needed for him. But ultimately for him, the real solution is I am servant of Krishna only. Say you get some headache or some body pain or some fever, we go to a doctor. That is a solution, but that's not the permanent solution. Permanent solution is what? Arey, your problem, body is only a problem. You get rid of the body. A Prabhupada asked, Prabhupada, there are so many problems in this material world. Prabhupada said, no. Material world itself is a problem. That means get rid of the body only. I am trying to cure my body. By the time I cure my head, then the legs are paining. By the time I cure the legs, stomach is having problem. By the time I cure the stomach, then other part of the body. So it's keep on going. I am going and getting solution, going and getting solution. He says, but why I need a body? Let me take a spiritual body. But there is that is where the point is when we come to spirituality. We don't say that they don't have solution. No, they have, but that's not a permanent solution. And purposely, their answers are waste of time only. And Sutavacha evam sanchoditastena kshatrakur kaushara vermuni prita pratyahatan krishnan vidistan atha partava. This is Sutta Goswami said, O son of Bhrigu, the great sage Maitreya Muni, after hearing from Vidura, felt very enlivened. Everything was in his heart, and thus he began to reply to the questions one after another. The phrase Sutta Vacha appears to indicate a break in the discourse between Parikshit Maharaj, Parikshit and Sukadeva. While Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, Sutta Goswami was only one member of the large audience. But Sutta Goswami was speaking to the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by the sage Saunaka, the descendant of Sukadeva Goswami. This, however, does not make any substantial difference in the topic under discussion. Okay, any questions, comments? We'll end here. Thank you all very much.